Well, today I'm here with Martin Locke. I'm here at the home of solar tackle. Martin, it's a pleasure to be here and to be with you, to be able to share some of the experiences with the viewers today of your experiences of carp angling over the years, and actually to find out a bit of where solar tackle began.
Yeah, it's been a long road, Ross, and a lot of things have changed from then till now. Must be around 25, 26 years now solar's been going. It started off, I had my fishing gear stolen from my car, and I worked in an engineering company at the time doing an apprenticeship on the machines. So rather than just go and buy the old tackle that was available in the shops, I thought I'd use the scraps of stainless steel to make the bank sticks and bite indicators and whatnot. And that's how it started off, really. The lads at the lake could see my gear all nice and shiny, and before you know where you're going, you're making stuff for them. And from the small acorns did the oak trees grow. Initially
it was the bank sticks, and then there was the evolution into the bait side of things as well.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm fishing a lot of waters that are well known up in the Colne Valley, Savoy and places like that. And because the fish that we were catching were very well noteworthy in England, we're in the papers most weeks, and the lads that are fishing on that water, fish from all over the country, very, very good anglers. We just put all the ideas together, as well as the tackle ideas, it was the bait as well. So that started just about 25 years ago.
When you actually caught the world record, what did that feel like? I mean, did you realise, you know, when you hooked it to start off with, you thought, well, right, this is a good fish, or this is potentially a world record?
It was a surreal experience because the conditions were so bad. It was -5, -6, all but frozen over, really, the water. And we left to go on for the session on January the 1st. At 4 o'clock in the morning, so when everyone else was partying, we were driving south 600 miles. And I remember saying to the guy I was fishing with, Nigel, that the evening before, if we get a fish at all, a 10-pounder, this will be an excellent trip, you know, just to get one. And at 6 o'clock that morning, just a few bleeps, it wasn't like a mad summertime run where the rod's being pulled off the rod rest. Hooked it, a lot of the time you don't know at Rainbow what you've got on the end, because you just want to hook the thing, get in the boat and get above it. Yeah, it wasn't a crazy fight or anything like that. It was just a big heavy weight on there. It came off the bottom, and it was almost like my eyes popped out of my head when I saw it hit the surface. And then the next problem was how am I going to get that great thing in this small net?
Yeah.
No worry about being cold at the time. Your senses were switched off, the adrenaline was pumping, really. And yeah, when it went in the net, I just shouted back to my friend on the bank. Couldn't see him because it was still dark. She just won't believe the size of this fish. It was so wide, that was the thing that did it, you know. It must have been 14, 16 inches across the back. An immense thing, you know, and that boat ride that was probably 5 minutes felt like half an hour. Just kept looking at the fish and just shaking my head, but never in my wildest dreams would I imagine it was that big. And you're not going to shout back to the guy on the bank when he says, how big is it? I think I've got a 90, for sake of making a fool of yourself like you would. Yeah, it was just went into sort of strange things that were happening. You couldn't believe whatever, you know, people say, oh, it's a world record. Yeah, but the one thing couldn't be changed is, forget the world record tag, it was a carp of 94 pound. When really I'd no right of even been out of my house, let alone fishing.
Right.
So, you know, I'm a firm believer that if your name's on these things, it's on them, and for that reason, for whatever happened that day, my name was on that fish. So, yeah, it was the icing on the cake.
One of the things that you obviously needed to have to actually catch these fish is great bait. So let's go and have a look in the factory and see where it's all made. How it's all made.
Quick walk round on this quiet day that it is. Start upstairs, where the whole process begins after you. This is the dry mix blender. There is 500 to 600 kilos of dry mix. So basically we slice the sacks up, put them in there. We get 2 guys to sign them off to make sure it's the right amount of sacks and kilos of this and that go in. Press the button, and that's whirring around there slowly while we're getting on with things downstairs.
Right, so this is for the shelf life liquids?
Yeah. Topped up ready for the week. We've got 800 litres in there, and that gets piped down to below.
I was going to say, in terms of actually making sure and assuring there's actually sort of consistency with the bait,
yeah,
that's obviously something that's very important.
For sure, yeah, one bait's the same as the next bait that comes out of here, and whether it's 1 week, week after, the month after, it's the same. So no, the customer's buying anything, you know, he's going to get exactly the same product that he bought the first instance, and the 10th time he bought it.
What's all this?
For small batches and test mixes, just use the old-fashioned cement mixers. You really can't beat them. Up to 40 kilos at a time in there. And for sort of flavouring pellets and things like that, we use those smaller mixers.
Right.
What we can't do in this one is put any liquids in there.
Yeah.
Anything dry stays in there, and anything that needs anything other process doing to it gets handled in other ways.
Which is your favourite to use?
Those small barrels.
Yeah.
Certainly, if you're fishing over the side of a boat, you haven't got to worry about having things that catapult out, or you work out with a throwing stick. They fit all right, and they'll spom as well. But that sort of shape is different. And also, if you're fishing on areas where there's like steep slopes and bars and whatnot, these things sit on the sides rather than roll down the side like a ball would.
Right, right.
So that's generally my preference. Although it's situations for situations, you know.
Sure, absolutely.
That's the new pop-up sticks we're doing. A lot of people's preference is to cut their own size, whether you want small pieces or larger bits. So we're doing those, and this is how they come in. This is one thing we don't make in this factory. A very good friend of mine makes his, and we'd get 10 kilos of anything at a time.
Right.
Again, keeping it fresh. We pot it all up there, and out they go in the 50-gram pots.
Right.
Just doing the pop-ups, but everything else bottom bait related we do downstairs.
Brilliant. Let's go and have a look and see what there is downstairs. That's quite exciting down there.
That's different, isn't it? Look, once the powder's mixed up here, that's the underside of this chamber. What we do is we put the pallet and a sack under here, and the mix comes down into the container there, and from there we don't have to move it 3 metres to this area. The liquids from up above here now, we've got set amounts to put in there. We put the liquid in to the mixer, round he goes. It takes about 5-6 minutes to do the mix. Once it's right consistency, which it always is under that time scale and the amount of liquid you put in, it goes from there up the stairs into this kitty, which is the extruder. That's the sausage maker, and this machine basically is the key to the whole operation and causes much headache.
Right.
As it would be when you start in a new area of business, And I thought this side of it, unless you got to go in for a penny, in for a pound, you can't have. I didn't want those 6 lads on rolling tables or anything doing it.
Sure.
If you're going to do the job, do it properly and sort of jump in with both feet and invest in this lot.
Yeah.
But basically, all that's to do is to squirt the sausage out, and it's consistent sausage as well. It comes from there, it drops between the sets of rollers here. There's a third roller mounted underneath there, just to get these things exactly round. The conveyor belt carries it up to the next part, which is the boiling machine. In effect, a saucepan. We can set this thing up so it's boiling when we arrive at work. It gets down to 60 degrees at the end of the day, and it dumps the water out for us automatically, refills itself up at 6 in the morning, it turns itself on, 7 o'clock, back on ready to go. Then every single bait we make is boiled at 3 minutes and 5 seconds. We adjust that around depending on the diameter, cook them a little bit longer for the bigger baits, and at the other end there, they appear as a waterfall sort of system, I suppose you'd call it. The water drops back underneath the system, goes through again. The baits roll down out from this little chamber. The drying belt, as you can see, perforated there, that's got very slow that runs. Right. It comes under these fans, and they're blasting the moisture off them. It's vitally important you get this moisture off this bait. So by the time it's gone through 2 of those, it drops into the trays on the end. We've got various ways of handling them, whether it's on trolleys. We've got some big containers like pallet boxes. As you can see, plenty of this for a day's work, and a normal day we'd be doing anything from sort of 1,000 to 1,500 kilos.
Well, last year, Martin, and you participated with Tom in the World Carp Classic, and this year Solar Tackle are coming back in real force. You're entering a full team, you've got a section sponsorship as well, and looking forward to this year's event?
Yeah, great event last year. Different, I hadn't been on the World Carp Classic for a few years, different venue. Perfect venue in my mind. You've got a big lake for the men, not boys, if you like, and probably looking at the draw and the lake and the shape of it and whatever, I'd say 40–45% of the swimmers are in with a shout of doing some damage on there. So that's good odds, for any match really. Because a lot of the other venues end up being a bit swimmy, don't they? You end up sort of not on top 10. Which history tells you after it's been at a venue for 3 or 4 years where you want to be and where you definitely don't want to be. Bolsena has got a massive amount of areas that you could do some serious catching on.
You could win from. Well, your partner, Thomas Duncan Dunlop.
Been there, hasn't he?
Yeah, been there.
Still on the top step, hasn't he, for Champagne?
Yeah.
Yeah, want to do it again though. That's in the past now. Hopefully me and Martin, this year come September, we'll be up there trying to catch a few fish and pick that trophy up ourselves, under the solar banner.
But What did it feel like when you won the event? You know, what's it actually felt like to be coming up on stage and being recognised as the World Carp Classic champions?
Oh, it's an unbelievable feeling. There isn't anything better, really, is there? You know, I mean, over the years since it's gone now, 2009, that was still. You know, I look at my pictures and I think, oh my, do you remember that? And it was just like yesterday. No matter how old I get, I could just shut my eyes and just remember being up on stage, singing that national anthem, looking down at everyone, thinking. And the other thing is, this venue is 27,000 acres. You know, Medine was 2,500 acres. So you win it on there. You know, I'm not.
You want it on merit,
yeah, not belittling Medine. Sure. Medine's a brilliant venue. But you know, to win it on there like the guys did last year, take your hat off to them because it's a proper water, battling against all sorts of elements of the wind and, you know, no sleeping for days really, just trying to catch as many fish as humanly possible, isn't it?
Sure, yeah, just want to be in the good shout at the draw. And it all comes down to a bit of a raffle at the end of it, but I say, I don't believe if your name's on it, it's on it. But see what happens.
But I think, you know, when you know you've caught a few fish and you start like 1, 2, 3, at what point do you feel that, certainly when you won the event, at what point do you think, hang on, this could be it, this could be our year?
Well, regarding our, you know, what happened to us, it was, Klaus was in second place, and the thing is, when the boat ban happened, I think it was on like day 3 or 4, in my head as well, I was saying, Rob, look, you know, we can't fish, you know, we had, basically our 4 rods were out and we had bites on all of them, so we got, you know, weights on the score sheet, but these guys could cast round the corner and we couldn't cast, you know, we had the wind blowing our face. So you're sitting there thinking, you know, these guys catching them from wee beds 40 yards out, and you're thinking, oh no. So it was, I reckon it was about the last night I actually said to myself, you know, you can chill out a little bit, but you know, your time rigs up and all the rest of it, because you just don't know. You know, all these guys that we're fishing against are the best anglers in the world by far. They're easily capable of putting big weights together in, you know, I mean, especially like Bolsena, you know, quite easily you could do a couple of £100 in like an hour, you know. So, and again, Bolsena, there's areas you can cast there as well, you know, with the boating work, especially with a boat band, so you never know. I mean, I just think there's going to be some crazy weights next year, because everyone's going to be used to it, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, they've seen all the fish coming out last year and they're going to know what to do now.
So have you got an area of the lake you'd like to fish? If you had one area, where would it be?
Well, I'd say that south-west corner.
Yeah, definitely.
South-west area is the one, but again, it's a luck of the draw.
So
everyone's in it the same, aren't they?
That's
same
it.
Chance.
Well, look, guys, thank you, Martin. Pleasure to see you here, and thank you very much for taking the time to show me around the factory and everything. Tom,
cheers, Ross.
Thanks for coming down today, and
see you there.
Looking forward to seeing you, Lake Bolsena. Okay.
Easy.
Yeah, indeed.